All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem Charachakodash. Double honors to all the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Salutes to all the sincere elect out there. Keep pushing, keep fighting. We're almost out of this bitch. So, a claim of some 100-year-old veterinarian says victory wasn't worth it. Right? I'm gonna play the video. But this is the scripture that's in my mind right now is Obadiah. We're going to get through the scriptures, funnel everything through the scriptures. Landbacking of Elder Require Crumbs video. Let's play it without further ado.
To the BBC and beyond. I want to play another clip now. This is from ITV's morning programme, Good Morning Britain. This is a World War II veteran declaring that winning the war wasn't worth it because of the nation's sorry state. This is a really shocking clip. Let's play this. This was on ITV's Good Morning Britain this morning.
My message is,
my work is easy because I use Fixer.
Stupid adverts. Fair use, fair use, fair use. Right, strictly for educational purposes only. Let's get back to the video.
my message is, I can see in my mind's eye those rows and rows of white stones of all the hundreds of my friends and everybody else that gave their lives for what? The country of today. No, I'm sorry. The sacrifice wasn't worth the result that it is now.
That is just an absolutely very sad and shocking.
Right, so that's what he's saying, right? When he came out with the interview on Good Morning Britain. So this is back to the precept now, right? So prophecy, Obadiah 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. There's a lot of people like that as well in the Jehovah's Witnesses. And they just don't like the fact that they're being swamped, surrounded by everybody else that don't look like them, right? Brown people, people from other parts of the world, and they're losing their white supremacy, right? Their white privilege. That's what they're used to, getting everything. They've been fighting for years, for decades, and they come back to their country and they see, they don't get even they ain't got, as they say, a pot to piss in and a window to fry out of. So that's his axe to grind, right? That Edomite there. And we're gonna get through some of the precepts here. Let me hit another one here in Genesis. Genesis chapters 4 and 14 says, straight to the point, behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from the face I shall be hid. From thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth, and it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. And after what Cain did to Abel, he slayed his own brother, and he wasn't repentant. He just wanted to lie his way out of it. And you wicked, right? Shame shall cover you. You ain't gonna be able to lie your way out of this prophecy, right? You ain't gonna be able to deflect your way out of this prophecy. You ain't gonna be able to buy your way out of this prophecy, right? You ain't gonna be able to be a fugitive forever, to hide your way out of this prophecy, because it's up and running and it's ticking. And this is why shame is covering you now like a dark cloud. All right, that's why we see you roaming around, shuffling around like you don't know whether you're coming or you're going. This is what's happening today, right? This is just what one of these veterans came out and said. He's got an axe to grind, and there's many more like him, and there's many more like this dude here. They say he's 100 years old. How many bodies? You got all heap of bodies, brown bodies, black bodies, and he's been knighted, just like they knight their criminals, right? Jimmy Savile, Cliff Richard, all these pedos, Rolf Harris, they knight them, right? And they do a hush, put a hush, what they say, they're sworn to secrecy, They don't want to expose their national heroes. But Obadiah says, shame shall cover them, right? And also, we read it again, behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy violence, from thy face shall I be hid. Yeah, Most High don't like you, right? He's hid his face from you. That's why you're fugitives. And it shall be, you and I shall be a fugitive. Let this one marinate. That's what they are today. They come back over from deleting a whole heap of people, hundreds of bodies on them, and they think that they're going to carry on as usual. But the scriptures done tell us already. Whosoever sheddeth man's blood, that's been coming out a lot recently. Genesis 9 and 6. Whosoever sheddeth man's blood, or it might be 6 and 9, shall his blood be shed. So you got a dark cloud hanging over you, 100-year-old, no matter what age you are, right? Until you ultimately get put out and you go before the judge, right? You go before Yahweh. You people, Christians, call him God, and he dishes out the sentence for the things that you've done over there in wherever you were, Vietnam and all these other different wars, where you were, the Gulf, right? With all the bodies you got, you're waiting to be sentenced. You thought you were going to come over here and you're going to live happily ever after. That's not the way it works, right? So a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth, and it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me, right? That's why you got, this is just one veterinarian. You've got an axe to grind, and the Most High put a hedge around you, right, for a period of time. Let me read 15. And the Lord said unto him, therefore, whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold, right? That's why, there's always, Jake don't be getting found innocent, right? All the small things that they do against you is because there was a hedge around you, right? We get hemmed up, right? So-called black people get hemmed up, and they, a lot of them end up doing all kinds of long sentences, in a lot of cases, life, and even some of the things that they didn't even do, right? Any kind of allegations, we know what happened with the Edomite woman crying out grape over there in what was that? What took place in? It might come back to me. But what took place with a lot of these grapes, Rosewood, yeah, when one woman cried out grape, a whole village, let me see if I find it, a whole village gets pummeled, right? A whole heap of jakes get lynched and they get hanged. The what do they call it? There's one in Rosewood and there was one. Anyway, let me just carry on when it comes to me, but you get the idea. So that's the protection, the hedge that was around them. Now that hedge is leaving them, hence why they're walking around today, shuffling around, right? We don't know whether they're coming or they're going, right? Let me get a statistic here that I was looking at. One statistic of how many people are being deleted from the fentanyl crisis. Because I see this just on my travels. I see, you see body language, you see people, you see the Edomites. That's that shame. You see them at the food banks, right? If we get into some real statistics, but we ain't going to right now, but some statistics we're going to bring out. But how many people are homeless? The Edomites homeless. How many people are have to be fed via the food banks? A lot of them. A lot of the data and the stats go back to the Edomites. So how many people are dying from the fentanyl crisis, right? You see the stat there, right? It involves synthetic opioids, right? How many people are getting deleted from the synthetic opioids other than methadone, primarily illicity? There's a word for it, what they call it. Anyway, they say it's casual drugs. What's casual drugs? Or what's recreational drugs? What's that? Recreational drugs? People getting deleted from them, right? Fentanyl, right? IFM, right? See some of the stats here. 73,000, nearly 74,000, right? Nearly 73,000, right? In 2022 reports, nearly 74 73,000 in 2023. Those involved, the cocaine continued to increase, right? So you got the data there. This is all, for the most part, is E. So the Most High has put a curse upon them. That's, go back to Obadiah. That's that shame. More than 500,000 people in the United States have been deleted from an overdose involving opioids since 1999, right? Because what used to happen with Jake in the 80s, there was that thing called crack, and that was directed to Jake, right? And Jake, we saw the movies, we saw the documentaries of Jake, we saw them on the news, and Jake was the face of it. But it eventually trickled over. Now you got this fentanyl, synthetic opioids. There's a whole heap of other ones. Trank. There's a whole heap of other ones. The drugs that they call recreational drugs, which people be ending up getting deleted completely. Trank, spice, so-called recreational drugs, right? And if you get into it, you're gonna see the stats. So let's go back to it. We're going to get into some words. So yeah, the Most High had a hedge around about Cain in 15, but that hedge now is being lifted. Most High is attacking them from all sides, and we don't have to do nothing, as it says there. Everybody that sees him shall slay him. Right? We don't have to do nothing. That time gonna come though. That time gonna come. As a matter of fact, I've got a precept to back that one up. That time gonna come. When we read on a little bit more, let's read this one here. Micah. Talk about itchy fingers. Cain got itchy fingers. Oh, all right. Micah chapter 5, we'll let the scriptures speak. And 7 says, and the remnant of Jacob shall be in the midst of many people as a dew from the Lord. Right? As a dew from the Lord. You know, dew, when it's on the green grass in the morning. Yeah, right? You can't get it off. You can't. It's everywhere. As dew from the Lord, as the showers upon the grass, right? As it's saying there, that tarrieth not for man, nor waiteth for the sons of men. And the remnant of Jacob shall be among the Gentiles in the midst of many people, as a lion among the beasts. When lions are hungry, boy, you don't get in their way. You don't get in the way of a lion when they're hungry. And if they want to get big, they want to start dating their mate, and their mate's got in the You've seen some of these documentaries on the lion. They delete the calves. They break the calves' neck just to get them out of the way, because right, lions are dominant. Right, lions are dominant. They have to be the pride, the head of the pride. So they have to delete the calves if there's any calves that their mate have, and then they start mating and starting a family all over again. If their mate already has any calves, lion cubs. If their mate has any lion cubs, they delete them. You see it. They break their necks. So, and the remnant of Jacob shall be. That's how we gonna be, right? Jacob, right? And that's all the 12 tribes of Jacob. Shall be among the Gentiles in the midst of many people, among the heathen nations, right? As a lion among the beasts of a forest, as a young lion among the flock of sheep, right? You don't get in the way of lions when they're hungry, especially when they're hungry. Who, if he go full, both treadeth down and teareth in pieces, and none can deliver. Right? That's talk about the lion when he's hungry. Just don't get in the way of a lion when he's hungry. Right? He thinks he's getting on bad right now. The white people, right, doing all types of things, as we know, in Babylon, over there in Babylon, and over here in the mother of Babylon, right? Cracking down on crime. Right? But that time is coming. Right? That time is coming. Let's get back to Genesis 4. All right, so it's not taking place now. Genesis 4 and 40 says, behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid. Back to it. Oh, it went to Obadiah. What's going on with the computer, right? We're going to go to Genesis. Right, there we go. Genesis chapters. I think there's a lag in the computer. I'm gonna have to sort that out. Genesis, back to Genesis chapters 4 and 14. Behold, I had driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. Right, and this is in the Lord said unto him, therefore whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. But that time's coming that he's withdrawing the hedge around you, right? And now we're hearing about Jake getting found innocent, right, for defending yourself, standing the ground. It's more slowly, but the Most High is removing the hedge. And once again, we ain't gonna have to do nothing. Most High brought hell upon you, right? Hence now that veterinarian, old veterinarian, was crying. Because now he doesn't have that white privilege that he's so used to having his own way, so used to getting his own way, and being able to tell the oh, why don't you go back to your own country where you belong, and all, that's how they've been getting down. Right, them are the worst. Them at that age there, them is the most racist. We've seen them, right, at that age there. So. Right, that's what he's complaining about. Shame shall cover them. I want to look up the word. The word we looked at in Obadiah. For the violence against thy brother, shame. Let's go to that word shame, meaning a painful feeling of humiliation or distress caused by the consciousness of wrong. Yep, because he's done wrong too. And a lot of them do suffer from post-traumatic stress syndrome, PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome, right? Yep, they suffer from that because of the guilt and all the bodies that they've taken. Post-traumatic stress syndrome, they suffer from that. A painful feeling of humiliation or distress caused by the consciousness of wrong or foolish behavior, right? There he goes. Irregrettable or unfortunate situation or action. Right? He's done a whole heap of wickedness behind the scenes. You know what they do. When we hear the stories when they was down over there in the Gulf, right? What they done to Saddam Hussein and all that, and his people. And also, what's that other guy? When they went to, the name escapes me. Right? But there was a guy. Lord willing, I could do a whole new separate video on it. Lord willing. But they've done a whole heap of what they call atrocities. They're talking about atrocities. He come back to his own country and it's all brown now, right? And he's getting kicked to the curb. He ain't got a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out of, so he's complaining. So that's that shame. We don't feel sorry for the wicked. I'm going to get into the etymology as well, just to see. Alright, computer, take your time now and do the video. It's alright. That's how the video be that's how Satan be doing his thing. Shame etymology says shame originates from the Old English scamu or skimu, and has several meanings, including a painful feeling of guilt or disgrace, confusion caused by shame. Why shame? State of being in disgrace and loss of esteem or reputation. Anyway, we don't feel sorry for the wicked, right? And there's another word as well, because this is what Cain was. He wasn't repentant. He didn't care about what he did to Abel. He didn't say, "Well, I did it and I'm sorry." No, this is what he said. He said, "All that see me shall slay me." This is what Cain said. So the meaning slay says. Has two primary meanings: to delete violently. That's what he did when he wasn't looking, and that's how these E's be doing. They look for the weak. Either when you're not looking, that's why the scripture says, "Never trust thine enemy." Either when you're not looking, or they may pick on a young child, as we know, Joel, what they was doing to the children, they were turning them into alphabet people, think it's Joel chapter 3, selling them for tobacco and rum, right? So they pick on the weak. So keep your eyes on them, right? Keep your eyes on these thieves, right? Make sure your bags all tightly zipped up, your rucksack when they're walking past you, because the scripture doesn't tell us that they are the real fugitives, and they're very good at what they do. That's why they managed to escape, evade being captured for so long, because they're very good at what they do. They lie, right? And they ain't going to be able to lie their way out of this one, right? Out of this shame, right? Buy their way out of this shame, redirect their way out of this shame, deflect their way out of this shame, project, because they like to project as well. They ain't going to be able to project their way out of this shame, right? Because the scripture doesn't say what it doesn't say, right? So to delete or to slay, meaning delete violently, which is the traditional definition as a slang term, meaning to do something exceptionally well or to be incredibly impressive, right? They've been getting away with it. Actually, they're getting very sloppy now, because they're getting desperate, right? Because Satan knows Revelation 12 and 12, he has a short time, so they're getting very sloppy with it now. And once again, it's because the hedges are being removed from them, right? Anybody that was going to delete Cain, the violence would have been taken upon him sevenfold. But that's hedges being removed, so they're being exposed, and that shame is on them, right? We looked at some of the stats, right, of all the synthetic drugs, so-called recreational drugs, and also if you go into, right, you can see here what's happened. Some of the stats in the news. Right, this is all in the news. Overdose in America analyzes, reveals deletion rising in some regions, even as US sees national decline. But it's on them. That's that shame that's on them. Right, that's that shame. Shame is covering them. The word of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yoshai, Kala Yahweh Ba'Shem Yoshai. That's what I needed to just bring that out. Right, just to land back off Elder Require Crumb. Right, on these ungrateful, wicked people, unrepentant fugitives. So I'm going to entitle this video something to that effect. You ain't going to be able to lie your way out of this one, buy your way out of this one. Once again, I'm going to end it, right? Because the hedge now has been brought out, and that shame is covering you. Simply, I'm going to entitle this video, "Shame is covering you today." Right, and this is the end result. When we jump down back to Obadiah and 18 says, and the house of Jacob, land backing off Micah 5 and 7, back to Obadiah 1 and 18, and the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. Right? So this is when it's going to happen. This is the ultimate judgment, right? When you're going to get rid of, right, forever. You're going to be in front of the judge, the true judge, Yahweh, right? And he's going to judge you how he's going to judge you once the bonfires taken place, right? Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining in the house of Esau. For the Lord hath spoken it, right? The scriptures have spoken it. Yahweh Ba'Hashem Shai has spoken it. For thy violence against thy brother, shame shall cover thee. For thy violence against thy brother, shame shall cover thee. What Yahweh Ba'Hashem Shai Kala Yahweh Ba'Hashem Shai Ba'Hashem Lakah Quadash. For thy violence against thy brother,
rows and rows of white stones of all the hundreds of my friends and everybody else that gave their lives for what? The country of today. No, I'm sorry. The sacrifice wasn't worth the result that it is now.
For thy violence against thy brother, shame shall cover thee. Prophecy, prophecy, prophecy. To the next one.